Welcome to episode number 10 of the Checked In podcast. This is Michael and Zach here. This episode is sponsored by Popple, your digital business card. Professionals put Popple on their phones and keys to instantly share contact info with everyone they meet. The best part, the other person doesn't need a Popple or an app to receive your information. Buy yours now at www.popple.co. That's www.popl.co and use code CHECKEDIN at checkout to receive 20% off your purchase and help out the podcast. So me and Zach been talking a little bit. A lot of shit going on right now. Zach, take it away.
Yeah, so basically, we've been it's summertime basically, in a couple weeks, still spring, whatever. But we've been kind of talking about mosquitoes. I've got a few mosquito bites,
Already.
I'm outside. We outside. But so basically, we got into the topic of mosquitoes and they got a little toxic, okay?
A little.
They don't like us, we don't like them. They need us, we don't need them. We never needed them. We've so basically, we've seen that there's a huge
You got this. Come on, you got this.
Gigantic amount of mosquitoes being released, and it's starting in Florida, but mosquitoes, they all over. They here, they there, they everywhere. So hopefully, it's been started in a few other countries as well, the same experiment. But basically they're going to they're starting it at the bottom of the country, and I think it's just gonna fan out all over, eventually, because mosquitoes do what they do. They reproduce every 5 seconds, right?
All the time.
So basically mosquitoes are being released, genetically modified mosquitoes in Florida right now. Well, they have already been released, so they've been alive for a while in Florida, in the Florida Keys, to kind of not put it directly in Florida, but the Florida Keys, if you don't know, now you know that they're like little islands, chain of islands, at the end of Florida. So basically, where this kind of where a less populated area is, so they're trying to just see how it affects wildlife and the kind of flow of the ecosystem, and if it's a good thing or a bad thing in America, whatever. But they basically started off with they're only doing male mosquitoes because males are the ones that don't bite people. They actually feed on like sap and other things in the environment, and it is the females that need blood as an essential nutrient. Yeah, it's like giving milk to a baby for their eggs, and when they hatch and all that stuff, then so life cycle of a mosquito is basically they start off in water, and then they go through their metamorphosis, and they become they get their wings and fly into the environment and stuff like that. If you ever see like a pool, like if you have like a pool, have ever had like a pool, it can't, it don't got to be like an in-ground pool or whatever. It can just be like a little toy pool you get, to put your feet in the summer. If you ever leave the water in there over a couple weeks or even a couple days, it takes really one night, mosquitoes will lay eggs in any body of water. Like, it's kind of disgusting. And you're helping them pretty much make more. So if you ever have a pool in here, you're not putting like shock in it, you're not emptying out the water, or like chlorine or anything like that to kill that stuff, there will be mosquitoes in your water. If you have a pool cover and there's water on top of the pool cover, odds are the mosquitoes are already releasing their eggs in that. So basically, they're a very invasive species. It's not hard for them to reproduce. All they basically need is water and blood, which is everywhere, especially in America. There's water and blood everywhere. There's people, there's animals, there's pools of water, there's sewage systems, there's everything.
It's a buffet.
Like I said, there's water everywhere. If you leave water in a cup outside, odds are you come back, you see little like squiggly things swimming around. It's mosquitoes. So basically, to get past that point, just kind of want to give you guys some some anatomy of the mosquito for a sec.
A little background.
A little background. But basically, yeah, so they're releasing male mosquitoes. They don't bite. It's supposed to, calm down the people that are in the area so they're not worried about getting bit by a genetically modified organism, which, you never know which way it'll go. But the whole angle of it is to have them basically kill off and control the population of certain genomes of mosquitoes that are in the area, and with efforts to reduce the amount of disease spreading and sicknesses and illnesses spreading throughout the country. So it's just a little fishy to me to release. I seen online that it was 750 million in total for the whole project. Jesus. I guess they're releasing boxes of mosquitoes, and there's like 20 million per release. So I think they started about a month ago or 2 months ago in March was like the first release of the 20 million mosquitoes. And it's kind of funny because like they have like a glow to them.
I saw that.
Yeah, they have like a glow to them. And it's just so that scientists can identify how many more mosquitoes are, in the environment, and if they can take them back. And the whole angle is for them to reproduce, and that glow is going to be passed down, as well as like other stuff that have basically the mosquito babies that are going through their metamorphosis will die in their metamorphosis stage and not actually hatch. So it's just going to be a bunch of dead mosquitoes in the water. But they're so small you probably won't notice it.
Yeah.
Just if you go swimming, don't open your eyes underwater. You might get a dead mosquito that makes your eye glow or something. I don't know.
I saw in these mosquitoes, the genetically modified mosquitoes, the active ingredient in these mosquitoes is tetracycline.
Yeah.
Tetracycline is actually an active ingredient in a lot of medicine, and that it needs to be prescribed to you. Wow. So I know one medication, I guess, that needs to be prescribed to you that's active ingredient is tetracycline is Accutane.
Wow.
Which gets rid of acne, all of that. And the thing is, with Accutane and anything that has tetracycline in it, you need to go and get blood tests done monthly, because the tetracycline can actually shut down your liver and kidneys. And that's the active ingredient in these genetically modified mosquitoes. And the reason being is because the tetracycline stops your cells from reproducing, or specific cells from reproducing, that's how it's going to kill off the offspring of these mosquitoes. So it's going to kill them off. But actually, believe it or not, the mosquitoes end up creating an immunity to this.
Yeah.
So in Brazil, the mosquitoes were supposed to be killed off and completely wipe out the population of the invasive mosquito, whatever species it was.
Yeah.
It's supposed to kill all of them off. What ended up happening is they actually ended up building an immunity to this.
Yeah.
And now they're super mosquitoes.
Yeah. And that to me is a little frightening, because it's like, if you ever, like, I'm really into my diet. I'm really into, I'm really diet conscious, food conscious. I study food science a lot, just because, I want to make sure that I'm putting the best, fuel into my bodies. That way I can, have like, I want to be a healthy guy. You know what I mean? So, I, was studying a lot of food science, a lot of GMO stuff. A lot of the plants that are genetically, a lot of plants that are genetically modified actually have, things that will kill the pests that, give them, so that way they're not spreading pesticide, all over, the world. And it's not, it's not creating chemtrails, and it's not, destroying the environment. So they're like, hey, we can naturally produce this protein or this, lipid in the plant, then it'll slow down the pests from eating and killing the food that we eat, that we need for so
they
helps.
Have pesticides like built into them,
essentially. Yeah, but they're like digestible, edible pesticides that don't harm humans, but they harm the
so
bugs.
They say.
Yeah, so they say, or they harm the bugs or the animals that actually try to eat them. So what ends up happening is they over the years, the generations, like a life cycle of a bug is obviously way shorter than, a lot of other species out there. So, they become, adapt and immune to those proteins that are being genetically modified, and then the companies have to then go back and rehash out everything on the drawing board and try to move forward in a different way they can affect, basically they're trying to create allergic reactions from the food for the pests. So my thing is, they're releasing like 20 million. I mean,
at
come
a
on,
time,
at a time, all the way till they get to 750 million.
Okay.
But I think the angle is they're gonna obviously see how they adapt. That's why they glow a certain way. But I mean, it's a little nuts to me that they're doing that with what is it called? Tetracycline, which, like you said, can
that's
stop.
That's not something you're supposed to be eating. That's not something that's supposed to be like. The only time that you can get tetracycline is when you have a condition that requires you to have a medication with tetracycline in it.
Right.
And even with that, like I took Accutane. When I was on Accutane, you can't drink on Accutane because that'll be too much for your liver to process.
Yeah.
I had to go and get blood work monthly.
Yeah.
And if there was even a small part of the blood work that was wrong, if whatever blood cells or whatever was out of whack, I immediately had to get off of the Accutane and go back to normal and get my body back to normal. Yeah. Because this shit really, like, when I was on Accutane, my skin was dried the fuck out. Yeah. I was like peeling, like I was like a snake shedding, bro. It was I couldn't go in the sun because the sun would mess up my skin, like
that's
all
crazy.
of that.
Yeah.
And this is the active ingredient in these mosquitoes being released in Florida and Texas.
Yeah. And I think it's crazy because, like, your skin is like the first level of defense for the human body. I feel like for all mammals and species in general, the skin is like, look at ants. They have like a hard shell exoskeleton. You know what I mean? Like lobsters, all that stuff. So that's like the first defensive, mechanism that your body uses. So I feel like if that is compromising that, and your skin absorbs nutrients, your skin absorbs sunlight, your skin absorbs air, water, moisture, everything. You know what I mean? So when you have a reaction, you get like a mosquito bite. You get your body flares up, your skin flares up. The same way on the inside, we just can't see. So like, what if these mosquitoes are like low key trying to? What if the angle of this government agency is to kind of like stimulate the population? Like, what if it's just trying to like
stimulate the mosquito population or the human population?
Both.
I mean, it's possible, but I feel like the mosquitoes, if anything, are going to diminish the human population.
Yeah. I mean, like,
not so much stimulate. I feel like everything that's going on is population control.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like Bill Gates was like, he made like a whole PSA during the pandemic, like, hey, these mosquitoes spread diseases. Be careful, they can spread COVID. Because, they just suck blood and go to the next person, and COVID is like a contact, it's just like a viral infection that's on a contact. Like COVID can live on, I think, a cardboard box. Yeah. We were all getting all these Amazon packages. It could live on a cardboard box for 3 days. Yeah. So it's like, mosquitoes are the number one carrier of like anything, malaria, AIDS,
everything,
whatever, everything, like yellow fever, every they can carry a lot of different stuff. Because it's like blood to blood, and it goes directly into our system. So I feel like it's crazy how, like, what if we get a mosquito bite and then like
we get something,
whatever, mutation. What if there's those few mosquitoes that survive, and then they're like Darwinism effect, where they're just like
it's not going to be a few.
And I know, it's going to be a lot,
shit ton of them.
And then like boom, 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 years later, it's like, oh, our internal organs are somehow shutting down, or there's some type of condition now that people are gonna have. And I mean, it all goes back.
That's what happened. Yeah. That's what happened in Brazil.
Yeah,
that's literally so. Going to the Brazil statistics.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to cover this. So Bill Gates is the main face you see when we're talking about mRNA. He funded mRNA. He was on all the commercials, all the interviews. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation actually donated over $1.3 million since September of 2020 to Oxitec, which is the company that manufactures these genetically modified mosquitoes.
Wow.
First. And then second of all, the statistics in Brazil, get this shit. So in Brazil, they released these mosquitoes between 2013 and 2015 because the Zika virus was going crazy because of these invasive mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So, according to the World Health Organization, Zika cases actually went from an average of 8,000 in 2012 to over 22,000 in 2016.
Bro.
Then, Zika wasn't even the biggest problem there.
Yeah.
In 2016, dengue and chikungunya, whatever,
Sounds like
they're both things that mosquitoes pass. They're both diseases mosquitoes pass, same as West Nile, Zika, all that. Dengue and chikungunya.
That sounds like an entree at like a French restaurant.
And it could very well be as well. But the levels of these two illnesses spiked as well to all-time highs in Brazil's history.
Dang.
Not just the past 10 years, not the past 5 years.
Yeah.
History.
Yeah.
The chikungunya cases rose to 4,000, which when you look at a graph, literally barely existed in the entire recordable history of Brazil, barely existed. And dengue rose to over 10,000. Right after this, they released the majority of these mosquitoes in Jacobina, Brazil. And all of these cases were in Jacobina or nearby cities. Only.
Dude.
Only. And what's crazy about this, 2016 is when the Brazil Olympics happened. And I remember, they were talking about STDs and Zika and this and that.
Yeah.
STD cases actually rose 70%.
Dude.
During this same time. So these mosquitoes that are these genetically modified mosquitoes went to Brazil to try and diminish Zika virus.
Yeah.
And actually increase Zika along with two other illnesses that mosquitoes pass on along with STDs.
Bro.
And these cases all happened in 2016 when the final part of the experiment or whatever happened. So 2015, this thing ended. 2016, dengue, chikungunya, Zika, and STDs all spiked.
Dude.
And dengue and the chikungunya or whatever, those those damn near didn't exist. Dengue existed in 2001 in Brazil, but barely. Not anything where it was an epidemic or anything. It was just, it existed. Zika was crazy, but dengue wasn't. In 2016, dengue rose more than it's ever. The other one rose more than it's ever, and Zika rose higher than it's ever been as well, and STD rates increased by 70%.
Dude,
you can't tell me people are just having sex with each other, and that's why that went up. No shot.
For sure. A couple red flags that went off when you told me that was, basically the Olympics, which is the World War stopped for the Olympics twice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I feel like, mosquitoes, if you don't know, are they're attracted to carbon dioxide, what we breathe out. So all those multitudes of people just watching the Olympics, going to these public events and sweat and everything like that is crazy. And I feel like that's definitely part of it. These huge crowds of people. Mosquitoes just flying around crazy, being attracted to. If just one or two people. Mosquitoes are going to be like, okay, we're going to swarm this person. But you put thousands and thousands and thousands of people in one area, in one stadium, and the Olympics are indoor, outdoor, whatever. It's going to show that, there's going to be more swarms of mosquitoes because they're like, hey, food's over here. Let's eat. You know what I mean? It's a buffet. So I think that's crazy. Another red flag is that, that they obviously, like you said, it's been historically recorded that because of this, there's way more people in Brazil getting, affected by, other diseases, that they were trying to prevent, one or two. Yeah. And it's like it actually ricocheted and backfired.
Yeah, they literally released these mosquitoes because of the Zika virus. Yeah. And then after these mosquitoes were released, Zika went up, along with two other ones that weren't even that prevalent in Brazil until after the experiment or introduction of these were done. Yeah. Now, with Bill Gates funding Oxitec and the new wave of mosquitoes for the U.S. I mean, Bill Gates funded the mRNA. He was a big face for the mRNA vaccine and the technology used in Moderna and Pfizer. And look at all the effects of the vaccine on people now. And people are dying, blood clots, I mean, they're saying that this vaccine isn't even. It's not even the spike protein that exists on the coronavirus is the same spike protein that exists on HIV. Yeah. And they're putting in a genetic code to make your body make more of these spike proteins, which is it literally is the HIV, the same spike protein that's on HIV. Yeah. So the vaccine makes people, the immune response is to create more of this spike protein that you don't want in your system anyway. Yeah. And the spike protein in the mRNA, it goes in human beings. It concentrates itself into women's ovaries, bone marrow, and your spleen. Yeah. So basically, because of the ovaries, it's making it so that potentially women won't be able to have kids when they're older. Yeah. All of that shit. Bill Gates is funding that, and he's huge on that. Yeah. And now he's all of a sudden in September of 2020 to now putting over $1.3 million into this company that's making these mosquitoes and modifying these mosquitoes. Doesn't really add up to me. Yeah, that not in a positive way.
Not in a positive way at all. And I think, HIV is uncurable. With Western medicine, it's incurable. I mean, there's some people that, have claimed to have been cured from this and that, whatever. But I think that's crazy that same protein. So you're literally putting something in your body that's the same spike protein that's from an incurable disease. So you're basically infecting yourself, it sounds like, to protect yourself. Because somebody that works in our government is saying it's okay to do.
Wait, hold on. So you said the government's trying to protect us with an incurable. Does that make any sense to you?
Does not make any sense.
Does it? I don't think that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does not make any sense at all.
People are jumping at the opportunity to get a free steak. Yeah. For the vaccine. Are you fucking kidding me?
And literally, bro, like the flu has killed more people than the coronavirus ever has. And it's like there was not a huge jump for, there
were no incentives.
There were no incentives for the flu, and a lot of this stuff is going on. And like I said, it's not federally approved by the FDA. And I don't know when it will get that tag to be approved, but it's like it's not safe. Obviously, they see that same protein, they're probably like, hey, we're not approving that. But I mean, hey, if you think it's safe, go ahead, Bill. You know what I mean?
Rock out.
And you got to think like Bill Gates' role in our government and like in America is computers, obviously, and education. He's like the head of our education for a while. He sponsors a lot of textbooks being printed. If you don't know, textbooks are definitely propaganda. But also, there's a lot of things that he does with obviously in the medical field. And it's just like, it goes back to stemming back to, like I said, with that video. If you guys haven't watched our other episode, with the Rockefellers, one of the Rockefellers spoke at a UN meeting, a UN dinner in the 1970s, and literally he projected that the world population would be 8 billion by 2020, and it's probably tripled 8 billion now. So if not doubled, you know what I mean? So I think that they were, the UN is definitely on a population control. Okay,
in 2019.
2019, we're at 7.674 billion.
That's. I mean, look at that. You know that. Yeah. Look at that. It's a straight line.
And it's definitely increased higher, which is crazy. I think that's a crazy, estimation that
That's a crazy number, man.
It's a crazy number. Like he's like off by less than a billion.
Oh yeah.
What he thought it would be. I mean, I'm pretty sure 2020 maybe it was even closer to 8 billion. But he basically said that that would be toxic if we ever got to 8 billion people on the earth. That we would be the toxic species to because we're at the top of the food chain.
We're the disease.
Yeah, we're the disease of the earth.
Which we are.
I mean, in ways, yeah. Our habits. I mean, but habits can be maintained and controlled and changed other ways than just like, hey, we're just gonna kill people. I mean, because these mosquitoes know no targets. They're biting whatever they can eat, and it's not like they're going after the toxic human beings. They're just going after
everybody,
random
animals,
human beings. Yeah,
humans. Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah. So it's like a lot of people in Florida are concerned about their ecosystem because it is. I mean, they have a lot of invasive species in Florida that's been brought in through ships, including mosquitoes. But it's like they're like, hey, what about our animals? What about our ecosystem? What about the things we enjoy and love? Like why we live in Florida for the nature mostly. in Florida. So it's like, what about them? But they're not really concerned about the human. And it's like, dude, if the human dies in Florida, like, who's gonna help the endangered species in Florida? Who's gonna help the ecosystem in Florida in general? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Nobody.
dude, you know what I mean? It's like,
they're trying to get rid of people, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll save this for another episode. But I mean, there's government incentives around farmers not putting out crop for killing crop. They're paying farmers 1.5% more on the crops they kill. There's a shortage on beef now,
dude.
Gas.
Chicken nuggets were hard to find.
There's a chicken shortage.
There's a chicken shortage.
If you think food is being affected by this,
yeah.
Gasoline is being affected by this.
Yeah.
We have viruses and vaccines that are man-made and pure bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, it all adds up. Rockefeller is letting everyone know ahead of time, you guys aren't going to be here much longer.
Yeah. And if you are, then, I mean, hey, you're definitely going to be in for a ride. I think also it's kind of funny that we just brought up chickens. Because chickens actually are immune to one of the, a lot of the major diseases that mosquitoes bring to them. Like, they actually have it in their blood they have the antibodies in their blood that they're not affected. But, it still resides in their bloodstream after a mosquito bites them. It's just like, parasite. It's not a parasite because, like, it gets killed, but Disney World, actually, the reason why they don't have mosquitoes is because they have a lot of scientists working on, and they have mosquito traps and stuff like that. And they also have, these crazy chickens that are in Disney that nobody will really see.
What?
Yeah, and the chickens are actually used as
They got Disney chickens?
Yeah, they're actually you might be eating one soon if you ever go to Disney. But no, the chickens are strictly for scientific. I can't talk today, man. Scientific research. Scientific research to basically study the because they're the reason why you don't get mosquito bites in Disney is because it's an international area. Mosquitoes travel through planes, ships, all that stuff.
And these chickens are playing security.
Chickens are playing security for us, and they're like kind of like the lab rats for the Disney scientists to kind of reduce the spread and life cycle of mosquitoes. So it's like I don't know if you should eat more chicken, but it's definitely something that's kind of cool. Just a kind of cool fact to throw in there that they're actually Disney's like on their job when it comes to keeping their residents safe or their visitors safe when you go to Disney World. So I mean, if you don't want mosquitoes, go live near Orlando.
Go move into Disney.
But be careful because the other mosquitoes are coming from the Keys to Orlando. I mean, there's a lot of like, if you're like worried about this watching, there's a few things that mosquitoes don't like the smell of, which is like cedar oil, obviously citronella candles, peppermint mixed with something else. Like, there's a few videos out there, obviously like off spray and stuff, but if you're not into like putting chemicals on your body, there's a lot of natural remedies. Like you can take a eucalyptus bath, you can put like a dryer sheet in your pocket and turns off the mosquitoes. I've gone camping like my whole life, so we used to always run around with we would eat garlic with our meal at dinner because they don't like the smell of garlic. And we'd also get like a lot of dryer sheets and just put them in our pockets and run around and play. And we pretty much wouldn't have a lot of mosquito bites. But there's like a lot of ways you can do this and have avoid being bit by a mosquito. I mean, it's really dangerous now. I mean, now that they're just kind of playing with playing God with mosquitoes. It's like, dude, what else? They're
What's
playing
next?
God. They're playing God with a lot of stuff out here, but they're playing God with mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are like the easiest, smallest, hardest thing to kind of see.
That's where they
but
start.
They're the easiest things to, that's where they start. It's the easiest thing. I mean, other than spreading COVID with planes around the earth, like a freaking crop duster plane, you know what I mean? But, so, I mean, there's just some ways that you can avoid mosquitoes. Cedar wood in general, like if you have like a cedar plant near you, you can, like it's a tree, but if you have like, cedar plants in your, cedar trees in your, yard and stuff like that, I mean, it'd probably be a little wiser to do that if you live in Florida. So, we're here with the facts. We're also here with the defense. You know what I'm saying? Defense wins champions. Be a champion.
That's right.
Get you some cedar, folks. No, I'm playing. But yeah, actually, yeah. There's a lot of like YouTube videos. There's a lot of videos out there that are, articles and stuff like that help you, with this defense against mosquitoes, because they are a carrier bug. My thing is like, why don't they just take the mosquitoes and obviously they're already GMOing them, but why not just give them like vaccines? Why not just put vaccines in the water that help them out, to grow? Why not just, create mosquitoes that have the vaccinated, why give humans vaccines and not mosquitoes?
That's a good question.
I mean, they're probably giving them the COVID vaccine, but I'm saying, like, why not give them vaccines that counteract their spread of disease instead of just giving them like these crazy drugs that will kill people? I mean, other than their aim and goal to reduce population, but I mean, like, why not just give them like, hey, you got malaria and these mosquitoes? Well, let's just feed them, water with, with the vaccine to reduce malaria. Like, it makes sense.
It's too simple, and it doesn't kill off the population of humans. So it wouldn't make much sense for them to do that, because they couldn't give two shits if humans actually were saved by mosquitoes. That's
questions.
Bill Gates don't care.
I mean, question answered right there. Flying syringes are among us, boys and girls. All right, that's bananas. I just want to say thank you for watching. You officially been checked in. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube, subscribe to our, follow us on TikTok, subscribe to our Spotify, turn on the notification bell amongst all of our platforms. Thank you. Be safe. Be careful. Get some off spray. Get a citronella candida. And you've been checked in.